Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have a quick tutorial video, right? So it's not the typical blasty, I know, forgive me, I'm so sorry. And we have the typical, I love Amazon coins, check the link in the description. The typical stuff, right? Like go get 20 to 25% discounts. Typical stuff. Now what we don't have is data, right? Because a lot of people will have a lot of opinions and they'll say, oh, I think XYZ is better than ABC. And sometimes they're right. And then sometimes they're wrong. And sometimes they're wrong, but they're not happy about being wrong. So today we're going to show you some data because I have a friend, you may know him, Mr. Rippy over here. He is in love with GSS, broad in the front. And I kind of like MR. Now let me tell you a little bit of history here. So the first day that MR came out, I bought it. Boom. Instantly level 50, put it in a front line, and I was smashing stuff. Specifically in duels. I was going like half the day and nobody was beating me. Except for obviously, the people who are much higher, right? So like all the scrubs just instantly weeded out. And my stats weren't great, right? Like it wasn't like I was like overwhelmingly powerful. It went from before and after, and it was night and day. I don't know if I ever made that video or whatever, but it was very distinct for me. So like day one, MR was great. And then I think they shadow nerfed it, right? Like they air quotes tuned it down to a level that they found to be acceptable, right? So they just keep nerfing it until people just stop complaining, or I don't know, whatever, right? So he's not a big MR fan, and I'm uncertain about GSS, right? Like putting Parada on the front. I know it's not a bad combination. A lot of top players use it. It's not bad, but I don't know. Is it the best, right? So I'm trying to determine, is there something better than Parada? One. Two, is MR the best? And, yada, yada, yada. So in order to do that, we're trying to create a setup here that's even playing field. And one of the benefits to me being a little bit of a fanatic is that I don't have anything starred except for 3 ants. That's it, right? Like Satooth isn't starred, Parada isn't starred, Panda isn't starred. All these ants, they're just vanilla. So if you swap them out between each other, in theory, should be the same thing, right? Should be an evil playing field, assuming that upgrading them doesn't have like drastic differences. And obviously, upgrading Parada to 5 stars definitely did have some impact. I mean, it was like quite noticeable. Before and after, like totally, it was night and day. So some ants do have this breaking point where it's like, oh snap, that was a pretty good upgrade for you. Others are just like, I upgraded to it and there's no difference. Like whoop-de-doo. Like Lady 8 stars, junk. And Reap Master 8 stars. I read that description and I'm like, no, I'm just not buying it. It's too junk. They should absolutely boost the 8-star stuff on some of these. But anyway, we digress. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you some data, right? Because on paper, that little guy right there, little panda dude on paper should be awesome. The reality is he stinks. He still stinks. All right, like so we unlocked the skill. Okay, granted it's like level 0, but he still stinks, and I can't just imagine that it's magically going to make it like super better. I can't see it happening. I guess if you really invested a lot into it, maybe, right? Like maybe. Now here's something though. So Tooth, level 0, running SSS, right? So the SSS, he's yesterday wasn't doing so great. Just like lose, right? So Tooth with SSS was like not that great. And then we went off and we did some other tests, right? We did tests with this on, I don't know, hold on, let's see if we, I think we just did more tests. It was like me hitting him, him hitting me, him hitting me. And the results were tooth with SSS, that's shooter, 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 not so great. So today, we're continuing this thread of testing, but we're doing something a little bit different, just a wee bit different. Because now we switched tooth over to GSS, and it was win, 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 win. One loss, okay. So having a 20% loss, I mean, it was better than before, right? Like before, it was just like junk. Keep in mind that I have one particular vulnerability. My defense stinks. My attack is, let's say, above average, but my defense is no good. Now, if my defense is no good, and we put GSS in the front, and it magically makes it better, then the question becomes, okay, at what point should your defense be high enough in order to run SSS and have good success in the front, right? And so this is from a, let's call it almost level playing field type scenario. My stats and rips aren't exactly equal, but let's just say that they're close enough for comparison purposes. Now, started off with tooth level 0, and then did 5 hits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Like so. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 6th one should be SSS. No. This one. I'm getting a little bit confused here in terms of where I am. No. Okay, I think it's just the last 5. So the last 5. So this is, I think this is the level 10 test, right? Like I upgraded him to level 10. Let's see if we can actually see that. Apparently you can't see. You're just gonna have to trust me that I upgraded it to level 10. I guess we could see the stat difference. I'm in the front line. So that would be 882. Let's just come down here and see. It's, yeah, you see. Okay, so there you go. There's your some level of reassurance that I'm not lying to you and that there is a upgraded tooth in there. Right, so tooth for GSS, it was win, 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 loss, loss, mostly wins. But with the switch over to shooter, womp womp, and we're back to having really quite a spotty, it didn't really seem like it was doing too good. Now, this also seemed quite interesting to me because coincidentally, where is a little simp? Okay, so the simp is right here. So this simp is running SSS with tooth, and you know, hey man, you know, I'm all for, you know, not helping people that you may personally not dislike, or that I may personally dislike. But I mean, I really wonder what would happen if simp boy here, if he went and switch to GSS with tooth. My gut feeling is that it would probably help, right? I'm just kind of like going out on a limb here. So, okay, we've established that tooth, GSS, and this setup is probably better. Now, we tested Pro Auto before, but, let's do it again. Because if tooth is better than Pro Auto, we want to know, right? I mean, like, I would love to know. Because that would mean that everybody that's running Pro Auto in the front may want to switch over to an awakened tooth. Well, because it's less expensive, because Pro Auto's exotic whatever thingies are event only and tooth is somewhat available. You know, I mean, like, we want to know. I want to know. We all want the best setups, right? Like, just that's kind of like the bottom line. Like, nobody wants to intentionally, you know, pick the wrong end. And this is really like black magic. Like, we really don't know. And keep in mind that Pro Auto is level 0 here. So we're just going to do a couple hits, and we're going to try and get some data. Because you can read those descriptions all day long, and you can do the math all day long, and you can, you know, this, that, and another. But the proof is in the data, right? Like, liars can figure, but figures can't lie. So we're going to just keep hitting a couple more times. And if we see a 40% um, you know, like 3 out of 5 wins, something like that, 40%, then we kind of have some sort of reasonable idea that this is probably slightly marginally not as good as tooth in this circumstance. So if we get another loss in the next couple of hits, we know, put tooth in front. It's just that simple. And there you go. Liars can figure, but figures can't lie. Tooth in front on GSS for this specific setup is probably the way to go. Who knew, right? So, yeah. And I've still got some hits. Let me do something silly, right? Let's do something silly, just for kicks and giggles. Which ant should I pick to put in front? I mean, we're doing crazy setups here, right? We do that? Nah, we don't want to do that. Let's see, do we have anything in carrier land that could maybe be interesting? Yeah, why not? Right? Kicks and giggles. I mean, we're just here to just have fun and get some data and kind of like see what the heck happens. I can't expect to win. Nope. If we get another loss, we're instantly changing it, right? So, but just kicks and giggles. Okay. I mean, when we get that second loss, we're gonna abort this. Yeah, there we go. We aborted it. So let's toss something else in there. See what happens. The thing that I actually want to try, cough cough, is Dusky. But Dusky's, yeah, there's no way Dusky can win. Just simply because he's, you can see 56. I don't have the 6 skill unlocked. But, you know, hey, for kicks and giggles, let's see. No. Let's see how bad it is. Could have been worse. Yeah, but I definitely want to see what happens with a full power Dusky. And, okay, while we're on the topic, let's do this. Right? Let's do this. Because I think that this setup is junk. Pure rubbish. Junk. Right? Because, hear me out here. You're sacrificing the front and the middle slot, which aren't going to do too much damage, to mega boost the back. That's it. So you're putting all of your eggs in one basket. And that's the result. I'm not even going to bother with the second hit. So the seasoned ants for shooter, I'm thinking they're not worth it. Just not worth it. I'm super not convinced that it's a setup that I really want to run. And yeah, it's just, so yeah, there we go. It's just junk. I'm just not convinced it's worth anything. In terms of the, like, Wise is great when you power him with 2 other ants. I've got data on this. When you don't include those 2 other ants, he stinks. It's just mediocre at best. Not interesting, right? Last of the day, and poof, there we go. So we know that my weakness is defense, and anything to boost my defense is probably good in my case. And you know what? More defense probably isn't a bad thing in your case either. So if we get something that's like a good universal ant that has healing, and guardian and some attack and some stuff like that, we throw it in front and we mix the march, not SSS anymore. You know, that could be OP. You know, or I mean, maybe just you know, a really good guardian ant that doesn't have too much, you know, exclusive synergy. Okay. But I'm leaning towards something that boosts the whole line. So it's a universal ant that we make a guardian, we put him in front, and we roll with it. And what could that be? I mean, we don't have any more hits today. Let's take a look here. What could that be? You know, we'll play the what if game. Go through your list, take a look at the ants. What's universal? We can make a guardian, stick up front, and maybe have some fun with. I don't know. I'm going to kind of leave that with the reader for now. But I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. And hopefully you found this video to be actually kind of informative. That was the goal today. So yeah, and I know, no smack talk, no nothing. But okay, that's it. Love you guys. Bye-bye for now.